We saw a movie.
Yes. Separately.
Separately.
Not together.
Okay.
But equally. Separate but equal. Distribution of powers.
She doesn't know, so you can't say anything. If family thinks it's better not to tell her. Wedding is an excuse so everyone can see her.
If I was a cousin, do you think I could be there?
You can't hide your emotions. If you go mad, I will find out right away.
Really 哈？
咋啦？
So it's me, you, and her together. So this time, I don't know what the intervals of time are for this, but this time around we all gathered around to see the movie Farewell.
The farewell.
The
The-
farewell.
The farewell.
Farewell.
Or the farewell.
Because it's the specific farewell.
This one happened.
Yes.
This is about the farewell that
Based on
happened.
an actual lie.
Yes.
Yes. I thought originally it might be a little much, like it might be a little too,
Sentimental?
schmaltzy. Yeah, sentimental or schmaltzy. if you
Yeah.
wanna, but it wasn't. It was perfect. It was really realistic. And, I learned, it's interesting to see, a different culture, it helps you understand.
Well, we should give
that
them.
more.
We should give them
you know.
the plot first. We should break it down before we get into our
Yeah,
opinions.
so what
You know,
happens?
it's- So Awkwafina is an Asian American living in New York at the time. She's mid-20s, trying to do her independent career thing. She's looking forward to a fellowship at the Guggenheim, and
Grandma's got cancer,
you were-
and that sucks, right?
she
But she
learns
doesn't
that
know it.
she goes to visit.
But she doesn't know it.
She finds out that she didn't get the fellowship at the Guggenheim. She's depressed. She doesn't have money. She's poor because New York City is too
New York
damn
City.
expensive.
It's expensive,
As the
and it's tough.
mayoral candidate once said, the rent is too damn high. And
Rent, it's too damn high.
so she goes to her parents.
So point is that Awkwafina learns that her grandmother has cancer.
Right, correct.
And then she also learns that her grandmother does not know that she has cancer. And does not know that she's dying.
Right.
And then the family goes to China for a fake wedding
Well,
that
it's a real wedding, right?
well
No, it's a show.
It's technically they are getting married, but it's
Yeah.
not
It's
because
only
they want to get
because they
married.
need to have a last hurrah with this old woman before she dies.
Yeah.
And none of them are gonna tell her because what's that really gonna do? She's still gonna die regardless, and why should she die being afraid, right? That's what I got from it. And I get that sentiment, but it's also kind of awful.
Well, it's that juxtaposition
But I get
between
it, right? I
soc-
get it.
between cultural norms. It's Awkwafina being very westernized and very she's an Asian American.
Right.
That is a lot of her character and her family and her immediate family's characters that they have the more westernized views, and that kind of clashes with the more traditional Eastern Chinese familial roles and ideals. Awkwafina's character Billy is. You see and you're introduced to this whole world through her lens, because she is a character that spent time growing up in China, but a very little bit. They left her family left when she was very young. They came back a few times when she was a kid. She's met all of these. She still calls her Nai on the phone. She still loosely talks to these people, but they all comment they haven't seen you in 20 years, and she's 25. So
Yeah.
she's reintroduced to all of this, but she has these vague memories, these little tiny snippets, and sometimes when they're driving around, she'll remember. She'll be like, "Wait, I remember this. What was this?" But then it's completely recontextualized because of the building and the constant construction and the new that is taking over these parts of China.
Yeah.
They comment that now you have
Yeah.
these hotels everywhere.
Yeah.
So everything's different, and even Nai says that she doesn't recognize her old neighborhood anymore.
I mean, they get lost when they go to the hospital because
Yeah.
the dad's like, I grew up in this city. I know where I'm going, but he obviously doesn't.
Yeah.
They
Things
get
are
lost.
different now.
And
It's been 20 years.
that's part is actually so funny with
Yeah.
the umbrellas and it's raining
It's-
and she can't figure out the umbrellas.
All the little touches.
It was a surprisingly funny movie.
Yeah,
I
it's
was
very
laughing
funny,
the
yeah.
whole time.
Yeah, I thought it was funnier than it was. equally funny as sad.
The trailer didn't have like any funny moments.
That's why
It
I
just
thought
seemed
it was gonna be a little
sad.
bit over the top
Yeah.
based on the trailer, but
But it was so funny. I mean, but in like the littlest ways
Yeah.
that felt really real.
This is the whole movie is coming back to your hometown. Like I
It's
can relate to
incredibly
that, going
relatable,
back
yeah.
to my hometown and feeling like it's changed. Now there's a Fishy Joe's there,
dealing
and,
with someone who's dying, it's,
Yeah.
it's good. It does it really
and
well.
having
It's
to
really
touch
realistic.
around that. Like it's
And see your family members that you haven't seen
In
in
a
a
long
very long
And the only
time.
reason you're together is because someone's dying.
Feeling
yeah, or a
guilty.
wedding. Those are like the two reasons,
Yeah.
and it's like let's pretend.
Just pretend it's one and really it's the other. And
The grandma clearly has suspicions of her own health. You know, she's
Right.
like, don't tell people that I'm coughing. Don't tell them that it's just an infection. It seems very much like she
Yeah.
kind of just doesn't want the conversation because like her, she's trying to save her family from that emotional burden, as her family is trying to save her from that emotional burden. I felt that both of them just nobody wanted to outright say, Nai-Nai's dying.
no one wanted to say it out loud. No.
Nai
Yeah.
Nai. We should pronounce everything
Yeah.
correctly.
Nai-Nai's great. She's my
great.
favorite part of the movie.
Yeah.
She was every
Really make you fall in love with her.
yes.
She's fun. Yeah, she's funny. She's
From that first phone call, I'm in love with her.
yeah.
The
The lying to each other slightly, like they're both lying to each other, like slightly. I like that a lot. How it shows
well,
that.
some people are literally
just
lying to
Like,
me.
everyone's just like,
Her-
she's like, where are you? Oh, I'm
Yeah.
at your aunt's house. Yeah, I'm definitely not at the hospital. What are you doing? Oh, I just, they're just casually lying to one another
Yeah.
the whole time. Yeah.
But it's also, for Aquafina's standpoint, the way that I saw that was that her Chinese isn't very good.
Right. Her Chinese.
So she's not going to attempt to spend 2 minutes trying to explain to her grandmother who that person was that she just
Yeah.
spoke with on
yeah,
the street.
Yeah, right.
And it
She's
was
just going to say,
like-
it's my friend.
yeah. And
So
also
that, because
it's
that's
like-
what I do
yeah.
too with my grandmother. I just lie because I don't know how to say it.
Or it's easier. It's
But it's
I
like a
don't
white
need to
lie. It
explain
doesn't
to
hurt
you-
anybody.
Yeah.
Right. Just like learning about the differences between Eastern and Western cultures like that. Like here, you're legally not allowed to do that.
Yeah, and they talk about that.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like they talk to you directly. They don't talk to your family unless you want them to.
Yeah.
Or you're like brain dead or something.
Yeah,
Or
because
under
the sister
coma.
talks to the doctor the
Mm-hmm.
whole.
Which is one of my favorite. She's a
time.
great character too.
She's good.
She's
and Ellen.
fantastic. It's just really good to it's interesting to see somebody who obviously cares a lot about like the tight familial bond in the movie is great. Like these actors feel like they're related.
It was very weird watching it because I felt like I had a family member who matched each character.
Yeah.
It's so real. And I think like that one family dinner that they had at the restaurant
Where they like argue
where they
about
started
America.
talking
Oh, and they're in the
about-
spin. They're in
Yeah.
the spinning thing. Yeah, that was great.
The thing is, when Aquafina first gets to China and she goes to that hotel, and the bellboy, is that what you call them?
Bellboys, yeah.
The bellboy?
Oh,
The
yes,
hotel
yeah.
bellboy carrying her stuff asks her about America. And that is, I think that really sets up for that America conversation later. But it's also very real. Chinese people want to talk about America all the time. It's like
The number one.
the
country in
comparing
world.
is constant. And like sending your kid to school in America is a big debate over there. It's a really, really real issue. But at that dinner, I think they really capture the tension between Asian
the
American
East and the West.
Oh, she's great.
perspectives and or Chinese American perspectives and Chinese perspectives. And I think that was something that Crazy Rich Asians kind of tried to do.
But didn't do
Yeah,
it.
But in a really
they touched
bad
on
way.
it.
This-
Yeah.
yeah, this
They just
movie
wanted to
was
show
like-
really rich people
Yeah.
having fun.
I guess in a very like diluted way.
This
That
movie has
was
so much more to say.
made it very simple. Whereas this was very genuine.
It was,
And like that
it's-
conversation that the aunts were having together, I've heard that conversation every time I go back to China my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
Just
The mom, like the main character's mother, she is great in that scene. She gives that great, like I haven't felt like patriotic in a while, especially
And that's
like,
America, yeah.
especially in 2019, But I gotta say, like that was great. Like hearing someone like genuinely give a reason to like America that isn't like about the military or something. You know what I mean? Like it's
Or about 200 years ago.
or about 200
Yeah.
years ago.
or-
It was just like a really genuine like they gave us the keys to that church, and so we could. That was just great. That was.
Yeah.
And so I really do like seeing the dynamics of the family, and they all have reasons. And even like the uncle, the one on the end there.
He's great. I like
he
his
he
character.
went like him, and it's him and his brother Aquafina, Billy's father. That's their mother that's dying. And both of them, they kind of meet in private sometimes, and they apparently are sneaking cigarettes. And Billy, she can't sleep, and she finds them in one of the rooms, and the uncle really lays out very plainly, like, I understand why you feel this way, but you have to understand, like, this is how we see things. This is how we are dealing with it. We're seeing it as, this is our family. This is we're all together in this,
What does he say? No one should be forced to deal with that much burden by themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
We
So
want
the
to
family's
we want to
not
hold the
doing that.
burden for her.
Yeah.
Which
And I
is
think
really
that
cool.
it really
Very
this
selfless,
is
I
one of the few movies, like, there's no bad guy. The conflict is
Cancer.
it's just like
Sickness,
mortality.
being-
We
Yeah.
die, and that's just I like every single person that's in this movie.
Yeah.
Even the little yipper dog.
At the very end.
Ellen.
I like that nobody is just like, nobody feels like a stupid movie character that's just
just like a filler.
Yeah, like I thought that the aunt, the uncle's wife, was gonna be like that. That she
Like
was
an
just gonna be.
antagonist?
Yeah, but no.
I don't know.
But I thought she was really good.
I thought that she exactly like she
Yeah.
like if
and she
this
takes
movie,
them for massages.
Yes.
She takes Billy and her dad for massages, and then
Yeah.
it seems like she doesn't care, but then you find out later in the movie when they're at the wedding dinner, she gets thanked for sticking by Nine-Nine side all these
Yeah.
years, even though they're not blood related.
Yeah, like that's the
So
thing. that's why
everyone
they-
just is coping in very different ways. Like everyone's just
The thing
different.
that got me the most was when Nine-Nine sends that one lady out to go get her test results, and
the
obviously
hospital?
wants to know what's wrong, right? And they go and they get them scanned and doctored
Yeah.
at a copy.
benign
place.
shadows.
Benign
What does that
shadows.
mean? It means non-lethal.
It's just not.
She's not gonna die.
Oh my god, her little sister. Can we talk about though the wedding?
Oh yes, the
The,
main event of the movie.
The cousin, this boy, he's Billy's cousin, and he's getting married literally for his family, so that Nine-Nine doesn't have to find out that she's sick.
Yeah.
But because they're using it as an excuse to reunite the whole family.
It's
So
great.
he's the most selfless one in the entire movie.
I don't think he actually has a real line in the movie
doesn't
though.
really speak
He
Chinese.
doesn't. Oh, I just realized he doesn't speak at all.
He doesn't
Does
speak
he?
Chinese.
Oh
There's a
no,
moment-
he does. They make him speak
Yeah.
Well, he like
at
says
the
some things,
table,
but like he
and it's really bad Chinese, and
Yes.
it's hilarious.
He was raised in Japan, I believe.
Yes.
Yes.
His uncle,
Yeah.
the
Oh
uncle
yes.
moved to
So
China.
the
to
fiance
Japan.
is Japanese.
Yes, and she speaks
And she
no
speaks
Chinese.
no Chinese.
And so she
funny.
she says like next to nothing. She speaks some words
Yeah.
in Chinese that
She just
isn't
looks scared.
translated to English for to Chinese for the audience. But
Yes.
she but yeah, so he completely. They've only been together for 3 months too. It's
Yeah.
revealed that they've been together for 3 months, and they decide to lie to everybody and say they've been together for a
Yes.
year because people in China will think they got knocked out.
It was great. It
Yeah.
was so funny. It was like, well, if not 3 months, we should say 6. And the one lady was like, well, if you say 6, you might as well say a year. And she's
Billy's
like,
mom.
Great idea.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
agreed a year.
A year
A year it is.
And that's the thing about the whole family dynamic I love is that each person, they all have like they all share their ideas, they all like kind of, it's like group decision making at its finest.
Yeah.
I really love getting here everybody's
Yeah.
opinions and just the little quirks, like they felt like people sitting in a room talking, and that's something I don't see in movies enough.
Her father's like relatable.
Yeah.
I like him a lot.
You know, I would love
When Nine-Nine says that his face has been all puffy and he
Yeah.
looks sad all the time,
Yeah.
and she's annoyed at that.
He does
That
that
was great.
quiet.
She's like,
sorrow
"Why
thing.
are you like that?"
and then later
man,
she's
it's
like
so-
she looks
yeah.
at Aquafina and it's like, you too, you don't look good either. I love that.
And she's like, "You better not be like that at the wedding."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello.
She just
Yeah.
thinks
Yeah,
that they're
aunties.
cranky.
Yeah.
Oh my god. what's
just
his
so
name?
fucking up.
I don't even know what his name is,
No.
but the boy, he
Her cousin.
was so funny.
Yeah.
So funny that I think my favorite comic relief of the whole movie was during the wedding when he was drunk. When he
and they're
just kept
playing the
drinking more,
game,
and they're
and-
playing the chicken game,
Yeah.
and he can't keep up. So I don't know if you know the game that's like zip, zap,
Zip, zap,
something.
zap,
It's
there's
essentially
crack.
that.
It's pretty simple and lots of fun.
You pretend to be a chicken.
gold chicken.
Yeah, and
Yours-
each person has an
Yeah.
assigned name.
You're a
that's
zip,
you're
you're
a
a
certain
zap,
kind of
yeah.
chicken, and then you have to call on someone else to do it. And so if they don't react in time, they don't do it, then you have to drink. And he's getting more and more drunk because he's not
So he gets
keeping
worse
up
and
with the
worse and
game.
worse at it.
I just love that when you just see him just
Breaks
passed
down,
out.
crying.
Well, that's the thing. That's what leads to it. Is now he's so drunk he can't control his emotions, and you've been following Billy's conflict with this. She doesn't know how to lie to her grandma like this. She hasn't had to deal with this before. But you don't really see the cousin's perspective of this. But then it all culminates in him just breaking down at this wedding.
Oh my
that's
God.
all for Nai's, for her
Yeah.
benefit.
Yeah, for her benefit, yeah.
And
He just starts
and-
wailing.
And
So is his
the
dad.
and Lil Nai is just like, oh, it's happy tears. Just don't pay attention to it. Let's take the picture. So they have this family wedding picture, just him sobbing. And
The
I love
best
that.
shot of the movie, in my opinion, is when she gets home. And after all of that emotional roller coaster, then you
You
just
mean
go
home back in New York?
this-
New York
When Billy
City,
gets
yeah.
home
when she
back in
goes
New
into her
York.
apartment, and it's just like, okay, this is back to
Back to life.
and it sucks because it's like that, I've been through something similar, and it's like that. You're just like, oh, okay. There's no grand revelation. Or
Yeah,
like-
I was
or
really
like
worried that the movie would
huge,
end with
no.
like her in the hospital and like telling her
No.
or something like that. At the
No.
end,
It's
Awkwafina
so
understands,
realistic.
and it's like
Yeah.
that's the
That's the
thing.
way they want to do it.
I still, my Nai knows I'm there
Yeah.
for her. They get to have their moment and their connection restored, and they get to have all their, reconnection and all their learning. And at the end, it's so beautiful when she's back in New York and she's feeling down, walking home, walking around New York. She just remembers this thing that her and her Nai did with the whole little pushing,
The
breathing,
morning
hey,
workout.
yeah.
好多了，好多了，好多了，再来点气儿，再来点气儿。
Then she does
Running
it,
airbending.
and yeah, exactly. And there's just exactly. What? And I really like how
She does it at the
At the
Billy
end of the
does
movie.
it at the end.
And
by
then it
herself.
cuts to that shot in China with all the birds flying, because throughout there's been that motif of this
The
little
finch.
bird
The birds.
yeah, that got into her
Yeah.
in her room, and she doesn't know how, and it got into her room in China as well, and those are the birds that are flying off in the thing. But I was wondering, do you think? I mean, it's probably just some sort of metaphorical,
I don't
figurative thing.
understand. Maybe it's like I don't know. Is that
It's, but I think there's this shot of like the window. It's just a shot of the window open and smoke
yeah.
floating out, and it's not connected to any of the characters, so it made me think it was Billy. So I'm like, is Billy also secretly a smoker? And that's the translation. That's why she was going to that room, but then she found both of them, and that
that she's secretly
she's
a
been
smoker
smoking,
too.
and then she leaves the window open, and the birds get in. Like,
Yeah,
I'm wondering
yeah,
if that's what
yes.
they're getting at.
I didn't even think about that, but
But
yeah,
I
that's
don't-
probably
Yeah.
it. That's
I didn't
probably
think
it. I
about
didn't even
that.
think about that. Yeah, no, you're
Yeah.
right. Because why else would she be sneaking off over there? She's gonna go have a cigarette. If you're a smoker, great move.
Smoking is
Smoking
connected
is-
to
If you
Chinese
smoke, you
and
should see this
American
movie.
cultures very deeply.
It's sad too because like the dad goes back to smoking. The uncle smokes. Their father smoked and died of lung cancer.
Yeah.
She's dying of lung cancer.
And then I didn't
Everybody
want
in-
him to put the cigarette on the grave.
But
You know-
yeah,
And then
Part of
the
me-
uncle goes, well, he's already
he's
dead.
already dead.
And I loved all like like you were saying, like the shots of like peeking through these other hotel rooms, because there's too
Yeah.
many people for them to stay at Nai-Nai's place. So they've all gotten
Oh
this
yeah, like the
this,
weird
this
shirtless
longer room.
gangsters with like the prostitutes.
Yeah, and everybody else in this
Yep.
hotel just has prostitutes, and they're just like
That's
same
that
room
moment.
as last time.
It's
They
also
make eye
very
contact.
China.
Yeah.
How many times did you cry?
None.
We're mid.
We don't cry.
Okay.
No,
Well,
but
I don't think you
like-
cried.
I did.
I had one single
I
tear.
didn't like sob in the movie theater.
I had one single
got
tear get out of my eye when they were saying goodbye. Nai and Billy were saying goodbye that final time, and she's just looking at
Oh my god, I broke down. I don't. You probably heard me. I
I
literally.
heard your sniffles the entire movie.
But at that part, I started hyperventilating because I was trying to hold it down so much, and then they said bye, and I lost it.
Yeah, it was
Completely
a lot
lost
there. That
control.
was the strongest moment.
She doesn't like have some sort of grand realization. She doesn't learn this huge life lesson. She doesn't. You know what I mean? That's just how death is, though.
And
Like,
also, it's like
so-
she does
so-
learn
she
things,
does
but
learn
they're
stuff.
slowly,
Yeah, it's
and
not
it's
like-
through
Yeah.
conversation.
It's not like this giant.
Because that's not
thing
what
that
life
that's
really
not what life
is.
is like. You know,
Yeah.
like I
It's
like
not like
how-
when she was dying, she was just like, you know, family is the
Epiphany.
most
Family
important
is the
thing.
most important thing.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot of English spoken in this movie. Like, you know, people do speak English.
No.
The American people do speak English.
Yeah, that was interesting. I wonder if you guys found it annoying to constantly have to read.
Well, when
Captions.
we're not necessarily the people to ask for that. We watch foreign films and watch
Oh.
movies with subtitles. So
It's
not
weird,
necessarily,
in
but
your
also
head you almost remember it like you read, like they said it, but you know they didn't.
yeah, like I mean, like when we're quoting the lines, we're saying the English that we
Translation,
saw.
yeah.
So you know, like we're saying
Yeah.
Lil Nai, that's because that's what I
Sounds like
that's
a
what
good
I heard. Yeah.
Cinematography.
On point. I mean,
Some of
the
the best I've
cinematographer. I think
Yeah.
again, why the movie looks so great is the cinematographer spent time with the director's real life family this is based on, and was in their hometown and just got that feel and the you know this like the very you know homey vibes of the movie, and it's really showcased in this way, the way that everybody communicates. It's great. Everything serves a purpose. It feels motivated. The choices are put there for a reason. The music, again, you know, it has an ends to a mean. It gets those emotional, the very
Yeah.
sentimental, is very strong, powerful presence out of it.
And I think what I really appreciated was that going into it, I felt that I knew I was going in with the mindset of I'm a Chinese American person and I'm very excited to just see a movie about a Chinese family. But I was a little bit concerned as to whether or not non-Chinese people would be able to laugh along at the jokes about that these Chinese people are making, or to be able to relate to it. And I think it was incredibly universal, which is very hard to do. I think it's actually more difficult to do that than to really just speak to a Chinese audience. So
Yeah.
I really appreciated that because everyone in the theater was laughing at the same parts that I was laughing at.
I think this is the indie hit of the year.
It's
I
fantastic.
think that's what everybody's been saying,
Aw.
right?
I'm so
It's
glad
really,
you liked
really
it.
good in so many different ways.
I am excited. I want to
This
see.
felt
I
like
want to
my
see
family.
Lulu's previous film, Posthumous. Now.
Yeah.
Oh,
I've
she
not
made
seen,
one?
Yeah, I've not seen that movie before, but I'm excited
This
to
is
check
her
it out.
big break, though.
This is
Oh, yeah.
This is
It's
definitely gonna put her on
The
the
best
map.
movie I've seen this year, hands down. There
This is
hasn't
so
been
well
shit
done.
this year.
Yeah, I know. I
And
mean,
this is the
unless
hands
you
down
like.
the
You know
best
what this
movie
kind of
year.
reminded me, just
Yeah.
in terms of what it is, not the literal storyline, but Lady Bird. That was
Yeah.
also like an indie hit of the year.
This
but
is better
This
than
is
Lady
better
Bird.
than
Well,
Lady Bird.
that's what I was gonna say.
Lady
Is
Bird
that
kinda
Lady Bird
got
did
annoying.
very well
Yeah.
and was this small indie hit of the summer.
But that movie feels
So it's
like
this
an indie movie.
Same,
This feels big to me.
This
like,
feels like a
path
movie.
to
It just
success,
feels like cinema.
but
you
I think
know?
this is better.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It's a
So
good
much better.
movie, well written, well acted, fantastic acting.
It makes you
well
want to
shot.
cry, but it
Yeah, no,
doesn't
yeah.
make you sad. in
It's-
a
Well, it's
way.
realistic.
It's
like
a dark
what real life
comedy.
is
It's-
like, you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like it's real. Like they did that really well. They made it feel like a real family with real people dealing with a real thing in a real way. Nothing's melodramatic. Nobody's over the top.
Except for the people that are paid to cry.
Exactly. That's hysterical. That's hysterical.
What happened to that one?
It's split up in 3 files. It's fine.